Hello and welcome to this second look exploring session looking at the world and the child, or Mundus et Infans. This is a play we've already done. Actually, we've done two first looks at, and in a sense this is a sort of pseudo somewhere between what we normally do with a second look. We're trying out a new system. As a system, honest, there really is. So the plan is we are going to do a straight through read through in this format. We're not going to be switching cameras on and off. And then we are going to use this session to plan a much more performative visual feast that you can enjoy as a video that is enjoyable. That is the plan. It is still, as ever, an onward journey towards fuller productions further down the line. But the aim is to do more with this text than we have done previously. And to help explore this in this this second look, we have reading Folly today. Personifying Folly is...
I'm Greg, and I've been with this amazing group for exactly a year and 2 days now.
Yeah, he's still here. And with us for a similar length of time plus something. Reading today, Manhood is...
Liza Graham, extremely manly, also cat.
Reading Conscience today is...
Alexandra, and I'm pretending to be conscious.
Reading Infans, and also later on the same character, Lust and Liking, is...
Sorry, my camera seemed to fall asleep there. Hi, I'm Eric, and I have been characterized as both lustful, liking, and childish. So
all the things, all the things. Reading Wanton and Perseverance today is...
Moomin, cat from New Jersey.
The movement operated there by Rachael. Reading Mundus and Age today is...
Lynsey Beauchamp, actor from Norfolk. Sadly, no cat.
And I'm your host, Robert Crighton. I will not be reading anything at all. I'm going to be sitting here making notes and plans. So just for those watching or listening, the play technically only has 5 characters in total. Infans, Wanton, Lust and Liking, Manhood and Age are technically the same person. We have, for this first session of this second look, split that, fractured this personality amongst the various readers, as well as the other characters that the Infants, Wanton, Lust and Liking, Manhood and Age encounter along the way. We're testing this idea out as to whether that reads and is interesting, and if it isn't interesting, we will drop it like a stone. So, without further ado, we're going to dive into the text. There won't be any stage directions. We're just going to let the words flow and see what comes. So, here beginneth a proper new interlude of the world and the child, otherwise called Mundus et Infants, and it showeth of the estate of manhood, childhood, and manhood.
Sirs, cease of your sores whatso befall, and look ye bow bonily to my bidding. For I am ruler of realms, I warn you all, and over all foes I am king. For I am king, and well known in these realms round. I have also palaces ypight. I have steeds in stables, stalwart and strong. Also streets and strands full strongly ydight. For all the world wide I wot well is my name, all riches readily it renneth in me, all pleasure worldly, both mirth and game. Myself seemly in sail I send with you to be, for I am the world, I warn you all, prince of power and of plenty. He that cometh not when I do him call, I shall him smite with poverty. For poverty I part in many a place to them that will not obedient be. I am a king in every case. Methinketh I am a god of grace. The flower of virtue followeth me. Lo, here I sit seemly in sea. I command you all obedient be, and with free will ye follow me.
Christ, our king, grant you clearly to know the case, to move of this matter that is in my mind, and clearly declare it. Christ, grant me grace. Now, seemly, sirs, behold on me how mankind doth begin. I am a child, as you may see, gotten in game and great sin. 40 weeks my mother me found, flesh and blood my food was, though, when I was ripe for her to sound, in peril of death we stood both two. Now to seek death I must begin, for to pass that straight passage for body and soul that shall then twin, and make a parting of that marriage. 40 weeks I was freely fed within my mother's possession, full oft of death she was dread, when that I should part her from. Now into the world she hath me sent, poor and naked as you may see. I am not worthily wrapped nor went, but poorly pricked in poverty. Now into the world will I wend, some comfort of him for to crave. All hail, Domly crowned king! God, all ye made them, all made you see and save.
Welcome, fair child. What is thy name?
I would not, sir, without blame, but oft time my mother in her game called me Dalliance.
Dalliance, my sweet child. It is a name that is right wild, for when thou waxest old, it is a name of no substance. But, my fair child, what wouldst thou have?
Sir, of some comfort I you crave, meat and clothes my life to save, and I your true servant shall be.
Now, fair child, I grant thee thine asking. I will thee find while thou art ying, so thou wilt be obedient to my bidding. These garments gay I give to thee, and also I give to thee a name, and clep thee wanton in every game, till 14 year be come and gone, and then come to me again.
Gramercy, world, for mine array, for now I purpose me to play.
Farewell, fair child, and have a good day. All recklessness is kind for thee.
Ha ha, Wanton is my name, I can many a quaint game. Lo, my top I drive in same. See, it turneth round. I can with my scourge stick my fellow upon the head hit, and lightly from him make a skip, and blear on him my tongue. If brother or sister do me chide, I will scratch and also bite. I can cry and also kick, and mock them all, Baru. If father or mother will me smite, I will ring with my lip, and lightly from him make a skip, and call my dame shrew. Aha, a new game have I found. See this gin, it runneth round, and here another have I found. And yet mo can I find. I can mow on a man, and make a lessing well I can, and maintain it right well then. This cunning came me of kind. Yea, sirs, I can well geld a snail, and catch a cow by the tail. This is a fair cunning. I can dance and also skip. I can play at the cherry pit, and I can whistle you a fit. Sirs, in a willow rhyme. Yea, sirs, and every day when I to school shall take the way, some good man's garden I will essay, pears and plums to pick, pears and plums to pluck. I can spy a sparrow's nest. I will not go to school, but when me lest, for there beginneth a sorry feast, when the master should lift my dock. But, sirs, when I was 7 year of age, I was sent to the world to take wage, and this 7 year I have been his page, and kept his commandment. Now I will wend to the world the worthy emperor. Hail, lord of great honor. This 7 year I have served you in hall and in bower, with all my true intent.
Now welcome, Wanton, my darling dear. A new name I shall give thee here. Love, lust, liking, in fear. These thy names they shall be, all game and glee and gladness, all love longing in lewdness. This 7 year forsake all sadness, and then come again to me.
Now lust and liking is my name. I am as fresh as flowers in May. I am seemly shapen and same, and proudly apparelled in garments gay. My looks have been lovely to a lady's eye, and in love longing my heart is sore set. Might I find a foe that were fair and free to lie in hell till doomsday, for love I would not let. my love for to win. All game and glee, all mirth and melody, all revel and riot, and of boast I will never blin. But, sirs, I am now 19 winter old. I wis I wax wonder bold. Now I will go to the world, higher science to essay, for the world will me advance. I will keep his governance, his pleasing will I pray, for he is a king in all substance. All hail, master, full of might. I have served you both day and night. Now I come in as you benight. 21 winter is come and gone.
Now welcome, love, lust, and liking, for thou hast been obedient to my bidding. I increase thee in all thing, and mightily I make thee a man. Manhood mighty shall be thy name. Bear thee pressed in every game, and wait well that thou suffer no shame, neither for land nor for rent. If any man would weight thee with blame, withstand him with thy whole intent. Full sharply thou beat him to shame with doughtiness of deed. For of one thing, manhood, I warn thee, I am most bounty for 7 kings sown me, both by day and night. One of them is the king of pride, the king of envy, doughty indeed, the king of wrath that boldly will abide, for mickle is his might. The king of covetous is the 4th, the 5th king he hight sloth. The king of gluttony hath no jollity, there poverty is pight. Lechery is the 7th king, all men in him have great delighting. Therefore worship him above all thing, manhood with all thy might.
Yea, Sir King, without leasing it shall be wrought. Had I knowing of the 1st king, without leasing well joyen I mought.
The 1st king hight pride.
Ah, Lord, with him fain would I bide.
Yea, but wouldst thou serve him truly and every tide?
Yea, sir, and thereto my troth I plight, that I shall truly pride present, I swear, by St. Thomas of Kent. To serve him truly is mine intent, with main and all my might.
Now, manhood, I will array thee new in robes royal of right good hue, and I pray thee principally be true. And here I dub thee a knight, and haunt alway to chivalry. I give thee grace and also beauty, gold and silver greater plenty, of the wrong to make thee right.
Gramercy, world and emperor, gramercy, world and governor, gramercy, comfort in all colour, and now I take my leave. Farewell.
Farewell, manhood, my gentle knight. Farewell, my son, seemly in sight. I give thee a sword, and also strength and might, in battle boldly to bear thee well.
Ha! Now I am dubbed a knight bend. Wonder wide shall wax my fame. To seek adventures now will I wend, to please the world in glee and game.
Lo, sirs, I am a prince perilous y-proved full perilous and pithily apight. As a lord in each land I am beloved, mine iron do shine as lantern bright. I am a creature comely out of care. Emperors and kings, they kneel to my knee. Every man is afeard when I do on him stare, for all merry middle earth maketh mention of me. Yet all is at my handwork, both by down and by dale, both the sea and the land, and the fowls that fly. And I were once moved, I tell you in tale, there durst no star stir that standeth in the sky, for I am lord and leader, so that in land all boweth to my bidding bonnily about. Who that stirreth with any strife, or waiteth me with wrong, I shall mightily make him to stammer and stoop. For I am richest in mine array, I have knights and towers, I have brightest ladies in bowers. Now will I fare on these flowers. Lordings, have good day.
Peace now, peace, ye fellows all about. Peace now, and hearken to my saws. For I am lord, both stalworthy and stout. All lands are led by my laws. Baron was there never born that so well him bare, a better nor a bolder nor a brighter of blee. For I have might and main over countries far, and manhood mighty I am named in every country. For Salerno and Samers and Andalus, Calais, Kent, and Cornwall have I conquered clean. Picardy and Pontoise and gentle Artois, Florence, Flanders, and France, and also Gascoigne. All have I conquered as a knight. There is no emperor so keen that dare me lightly teen. For lives and limbs I lean, so mickle is my might. For I have boldly blood full piteously dispilled. There many hath left fingers and feet, both head and face. I've done harm on heads, and knights have I killed. And many a lady for my love hath said, alas. Brigand harness have I beaten to back and to bones, and beaten also many a groom to ground. Breastplates have I beaten as Stephen was with stones. So fell a fighter in field was there nary found. To me, no man is maked, for manhood mighty, that is my name. Many a lord have I do lame, wonder wide walketh my fame, and many a king's crown have I cracked. I am worthy and white, witty and wise. I am royally arrayed to reven under the rise. I am proudly apparelled in purple and biz, as gold I glister in gear. I am stiff, strong, stalwart, and stout. I am the royalest readily that runneth in this rout. There is no knight so gristly that I dread nor doubt, for I am so doughtily dight, there may no dint me dear. And the king of pride full pressed with all his proud presence, and the king of lechery lovely his letters hath me sent, and the king of wrath full worthily with all his intent. They will me maintain with main and all their might. The king of covetise and the king of gluttony, the king of sloth and the king of envy, all those send me their livery. Where is now so worthy a wight? Yea, as a wight witty, here in this seat sit I, for no loves let I here for to sit.
Christ, as he is crowned king, save all this comely company, and grant you all his dear blessing that bonnily bought you on the rood tree. Now pray you pressly on every side to God omnipotent, to set our enemy sharply on side, that is the devil and his covent, and all men to have a clear knowing of heaven bliss, that high tower. Methinks it is a necessary thing for young and old, both rich and poor conscience for to know. For conscience clear is my name. Conscience counselleth both high and low, and conscience commonly beareth great blame, yea, and oftentimes set in shame. Wherefore I read you, men, both in earnest and in game, conscience, that ye know. For I know all the mysteries of man, they be as simple as they can, and in every company where I come, conscience is outcast. All the world doth conscience hate, mankind and conscience be at debate, for if mankind might conscience take, my body would they brast, yea, and walk me much woe.
Say how, fellow, who gave thee leave this way to go? What, weenest thou I dare not come thee to? Say, thou harlot, whither in haste?
What? Let me go, sir, I know you naught.
No bitched brothel thou shalt be taught, for I'm a knight, and I were sought. The world hath advanced me.
Why, good sir knight, what is your name?
Manhood, mighty in mirth and in game, all power of pride I have ta'en. I am as gentle as jay on tree.
Sir, though the world have you to manhood brought, to maintain manner you were never taught. No, conscience clear, ye know right naught, and this longeth to a night.
Conscience? What the devil man is he?
Sir, a teacher of spirituality.
Spirituality? What the devil may that be?
Sir, all that be leaders into light.
Light? Yea, but hark, fellow, yet light fain would I see.
Will ye so, Sir Knight? Then do after me.
Yea, and it to pride's pleasing be, I will take thy teaching.
Nay, sir, beware of pride, and you do well. For pride Lucifer fell into hell. Till doomsday there shall he dwell, without any outcoming. For pride, sir, is but a vain glory.
Peace, thou brothel, and let those words be. For the world and pride hath advanced me. To me men lout full low.
And to beware of pride, sir, I would counsel you, and think on King Robert of Sicile, how he for pride in great poverty fell, but for he would not conscience, no.
Yea, conscience, go forth thy way. For I love pride, and will go gay. All thy teaching is not worth a stray, for pride clip I my king.
Sir, there is no king but God alone, that bodily bought us with pain and passion, because of man's soul's redemption. In Scripture thus we find.
Say, conscience, sith thou wouldst have pride from me, what sayest thou by the king of lechery? With all mankind he must be, and with him my love to ling.
Nay, manhood, that may not be. From lechery fast you flee, for encumbrance it will bring thee, and all that to him will lend.
Say, conscience of the king of sloth, he hath behight me mickle troth, and I may not forsake him for ruth, for with him I think to rest.
Manhood, in Scripture thus we find that sloth is a traitor to heaven king. Sir Knight, if you will keep your king, from sloth clean you cast.
Say, conscience, the king of gluttony, he saith he will not forsake me, and I purpose his servant to be with main and all my might.
Think, manhood, on substance, and put out gluttony for cumbrance, and keep you with good governance, for this longeth to a night.
What, conscience, from all my masters thou wouldst have me? But I will never forsake envy, for he is king of company, both with more and less.
Nay, manhood, that may not be, and ye will cherish envy. God will not well pleased be to comfort you in that case.
I hath mistaken mine scrolling upon this here computer thing. I scrolleth down, behold ye document, I do the thing. For all my sins forsaken hath yonder computer in great wrath. Let's see. We were at yes, we were at envy. I from 5 kings thou hast counselled me, but from the king of wrath I will never flee. For he is in every deed doughty. For him dare no man rout.
Nay, manhood, beware of wrath, for it is but superfluity that cometh and goeth. Yea, and all men his company hateth, for oft they stand in doubt.
Fie on thee, false flattering frere! Thou shalt rue the time that thou came here. The devil will set thee on a fire that ever I with thee meet. For thou counsellest me from all gladness, and would me set into all sadness. But ere thou bring me in this madness, the devil break thy neck. But, sir frere, evil mot thou thee. From 6 kings thou hast counselled me. But that day shalt thou never see to counsel me from covetise.
No, Sir, I will not you from covetous bring, for covetous I clep a king. Sir, covetous in good doing is good in all wise. But, sir, will you do after me, and covetous your king shall be?
Yea, sir, my troth I plight to thee, that I would work at thy will.
Manhood, will ye by this word stand?
Yea, conscience, hear my hand. I will never from it fong, neither loud ne still.
Manhood, ye must love God above all thing. His name in idleness ye may not ming. Keep your holy day from worldly doing. Your father and mother worship I. Covet ye to slay no man, nay do no lechery with no woman. Your neighbour's good take not by no way, and all false witness ye must deny. Neither ye must not covet no man's wife, nor no good that him belieth. This covetous shall keep you out of strife. These be the commandments 10, mankind, and ye these commandments keep. Heaven bliss I you beheat, for Christ's commandments are full sweet and full necessary to all men.
What, conscience, is this thy covetise?
Yea, manhood in all wise, and covet to Christ's service, both to matins and to mass. Ye must, manhood, with all your might, maintain holy churches right, for this longeth to a night, plainly in every place.
What, conscience, should I leave all game and glee?
Nay, manhood, so mot I thee. All mirth in measure is good for thee. But, sir, measure is in all thing.
Measure, conscience. What thing may measure be?
Sir, keep you in charity, and from all evil company, for doubt of folly doing.
Folly. What thing callest thou folly?
Sir, it is pride, wrath, and envy, sloth, covetous, and gluttony. Lechery, the seventh is. These 7 sins I call folly.
What? Thou liest! To these 7 the world delivered me, and said they were kings of great beauty and most of main and mights. But yet I pray thee, sir, tell me, may I not go arrayed honestly?
Yes, manhood, hardily in all manner of degree.
But I must have sporting of play.
Secondly, manhood, I say not nay, but good governance keep both night and day, and maintain meekness and all mercy.
All mercy, conscience. What may that be?
Sir, all discretion that God gave thee.
Discretion I know not, so mote I fee.
Sir, it is all the wits that God hath you send.
Conscience, now I know and see thy cunning is much more than mine. But yet I pray thee, sir, tell me, what is most necessary for man in every time?
Sir, in every time beware of folly. Folly is full of false flattering. In what occupation that ever ye be, alway ere ye begin, think on the ending for blame. Now, farewell, manhood. I must wend.
Now farewell, conscience, mine own friend.
I pray you, manhood, have God in mind, and beware of folly and shame.
Yes, yea, come wind and rain. God, let him never come here again. Now he is forward, I am right fain, for in faith, sir, he had near counselled me all amiss. Now I have bethought me, if I shall heaven win, conscience teaching I must begin, and clean forsake the kings of sin that the world me taught. Conscience servant will I be, believe, as he hath taught me, upon one God and persons 3, that made all things of naught. For conscience clear, I keep my king, and his knight in good doing. For right of reason, as I find conscience teaching is true. The world is full of boast, and saith he is of might most. All his teaching is not worth a cost, for conscience he does refuse. But yet will I him not forsake, for mankind he doth merry make. Though the world and conscience be at debate, yet the world I will not despise. For both in church and in cheaping and in other places being, the world findeth me all thing and doth me great service. Whew. Now here full pressed, I think to rest, mirth is best.
What hey-ho, caraway! Oh, my name is Folly. I am not gay. Is here any man that will not say nay that runneth in this rout? Ah, sir, give you good eve.
Stand, utter fellow. Where dost thou thy courtesy prove?
What? How do you but claw mine ass, sir, by your leave? I thank you, sir. Give me this clout.
What? Stand out, thou sainted shrew!
By faith, sir, then cock crew, for I take record of this rue. My freedom is near past.
Now truly it may well be so.
By God, sir, yet I have fellows mo, for in every country where I go, some man his thrift hath lost.
But hark, fellow, art thou any craftsman?
Yes, sir, I can find a sieve and tink a pan, and thereto a curious butler player I am. Nice, fellow, what thou wast say?
Now truly, sir, I trow thou canst but little skill of play.
Gape, by cock's bones that I can. I will never flee for no man that walketh by the way.
Fellow, though thou have cunning, I counsel thee leave thy boasting. For here thou may thy fellow find, whither thou wilt, at long or short.
Come, look, and thou darest arise and essay.
Yea, sir. Oh, but conscience biddeth me nay.
No, sir, thou darest not in good favour, truly thou failest now, false heart.
What sayest thou? Have I a false heart?
Yes, sir, in good faith.
Manhood will not that I say nay. Defend thee, Folly, if that you may, for in faith I purpose to wit what thou art. How sayest thou not, Folly? Hast thou not a touch?
So he whispered little on my pouch. On all this main will me vouch that standeth here about.
And I take record on all this rue, thou hast 2 touches, though I say but few.
Yea, this place is not without a shrew. I do you all out of Jew.
But hark, fellow, by thy faith, where wast thou bore?
By my faith, in England have I dwelled yore, and all mine ancestors be before. But, sir, in London is my chief dwelling.
Ah, in London. Where, if a man thee sought?
In Soho, sir, in Holborn I was forth brought, and with the courtiers I am taught. To Westminster I used to wend.
Hark, fellow, why dost thou to Westminster draw?
For I am a servant of the law. Covetous is mine own fellow, we twain plead for the king, and poor men that come from upland, we will take their matter in hand, be it right or be it wrong, their thrift with us shall wend.
Now here, fellow, I pray thee, whither wendest thou then?
My faith, sir, to London I ran, to the taverns to drink wine, and then to the inns I took the way, and there I was not welcome to the ostler, but I was welcome to the fair tapster, and all the household I was right there, for I have dwelled with her many a day.
Now I pray thee, whither took thou then the way?
In faith, sir, over London Bridge I ran, and the straight way to the shoes I came, and took lodging for a night. And there I found my brother lechery. Their men and women do Folly, and every man made of me as worthy as though I had been a knight.
I pray thee, yet tell me more of thy adventures.
In faith, even straight to all the fairs, and with them I dwelt many years, and they crowned Folly a king.
And I pray thee, fellow, whither wendest thou though?
So all England to and fro, into abbeys and into nunneries, all and always Folly doth fellows fight.
Now hark, fellow, I pray thee, tell me thy name.
He whiz, I hype by Folly and shame.
Ah, thou art he that conscience did blame when he me taught. I pray thee, Folly, go hence, and follow not me.
Yes, good sir, let me your servant be.
Nay, so mote I thee, for then a shrew I had caught.
My good sir, what is your name?
Manhood mighty, that beareth no blame.
By the rudiment mustereth in every game some deal to cherish Folly. For Folly is fairer with the world and greatly beloved by many a lord. And if ye put me out of your ward, the world right wroth will be.
Yea, sir, yet had I liever the world be wroth than lose the cunning that conscience me gave.
A cuckoo for conscience. He is but a door, I cannot else but breathe.
Yea, I pray thee, leave thy lewd clattering, for conscience is a counsellor for a king.
I would not give a straw for his teaching. He doth but make men wroth. But what wotest thou what I say, man? But by that ilk truth but God me gave, had I that bitched conscience in this place, I should so beat him with my staff that all his stones should stink.
I pray thee, Folly, go hence, and follow not me.
Yes, sir. So what I thee, your servant will I be. I ask to meat and drink.
Peace, man, I may not have thee, for thy name, for thou sayest thy name is both folly and shame.
Sir, here in this clout I knit shame and clep me but proper folly.
Yea, Folly, wilt thou be my true servant?
Yea, Sir Manhood, here my hand.
Ugh. Now let us drink at this command, for that is courtesy.
Marry, master, ye shall have in haste. Sirs, let the cat wink. For all ye, not what I think, I shall draw him such draught of drink that conscience he shall awake us. Master, and drink well. Let us make revel. For I swear by the church of St. Michael, I would we were at Jews. For that is nothing but a revel rout, and we were there. I have no doubt I would be known all about. My conscience they would refuse.
Peace, Folly, my fair friend, for by Christ I would not that conscience should me here find.
Touch master, I don't speak no thing, for conscience cometh no time here.
Peace, Folly, there is no man that knoweth me.
Here is my troth, my plight to thee, and thou wilt go thither with me, for knowledge hast thou no care.
Peace, but it is hence a great way.
Say, sir, we may pardon, sir, we may be there on a day. Hey, we shall be right welcome, I dare well say, in Egypt for to dine, and then we will with Lombard's passage play, and at the Pope's head sweet wine assay, we shall be logic well fine.
What sayest thou, Folly? Is this the best?
Oh, sir, well, this is manhood, well thou knowest.
Now, Folly, go we hence in haste. But fain I would change my name, for well I wot, if conscience met me in this tide, right well I wot he would me chide.
Sir, for fear of you his face he shall hide. I shall clap you. Shame.
Now gramercy, my folly, my fellow in fear. Go we hence, tarry no longer here. Till we be gone, methinks it's 7 year. I have gold and good to spend.
Master, it is good cheer, and there it be passing half a year, I shall thee share right aloof. Again, descend.
Folly, go before, and teach me the way.
Come after shame, by thee brain, conscience clear ye, cast away. Lo, sirs, this folly teacheth I, for where conscience cometh with his cunning, yet folly full fitly shall make him blind. Folly before, and shame behind. Lo, sirs, thus faith the world away.
Now will I follow folly, for folly is my man, yea, folly is my fellow, and hath given me a name. Conscience called me manhood, folly calleth me shame. Folly will me lead to London to learn revel, yea, and conscience is but a flattering brothel, for ever he is carping of care. The world and folly counselleth me all to gladness, yea, and conscience counselleth me to all sadness. Yea, too much sadness might bring me into madness. And now have good day, sirs. To London to seek folly will I fare. Woo!
Say, manhood, friend, whither will ye go?
Nay, sir, faith, my name is not so. Ah, frere, what the devil hast thou to do, whether I go or abide?
Yes, sir, I will counsel you for the best.
I will none of your counsel. Oh, so have I rest. I will go whither me lest, for thou canst not else but chide.
Lo, sirs, a great ensample you may see, the frailness of mankind, how oft he falleth in folly through temptation of the fiend. For when the fiend and the flesh be at one assent, then conscience clear is clean outcast. Men think not on the great judgment that the seely soul shall have at the last, but would God all men would have in mind of the great day of doom, how he shall give a great reckoning of evil deeds that he hath done. But it is needless, sith it is so that manhood is forth with folly wend. To seek perseverance now will I go, with the grace of God omnipotent. His counsels being in fear, perseverance counsel is most dear. Next to him is conscience clear from sinning. Now into this presence to Christ I pray, to speed me well in my journey. Farewell, lordings, and have good day. To seek perseverance will I wend.
Now Christ, our comely Creator, clearer than crystal clean, that craftily made every creature by good recreation, save all this company that is gathered here, biden, and set all your souls into good salvation. Now, good God, that is most wisest and weld of wits, this company counsel and comfort and glad, and save all this similitude that seemly here sits. Now, good God, for his mercy that all men made. And now, Mary Mother, meekest that I mean, shield all this company from evil inversation, and save you from our enemy, as she is bright and clean, and at the last day of doom deliver you from everlasting damnation. Sirs, Perseverance is my name, conscience-born brother that is. He sent me hither mankind to indoctrine, that they should to no vices incline, for oft mankind is governed amiss, and through folly mankind is set in shame. Therefore in this presence to Christ I pray, ere that I hence wend away, some good word that I may say to borrow man's soul from blame.
Alas, alas, that me is woe! My life, my liking I have forlorn, my rents, my riches, it is all ego. Alas, the day that I was born! For I was born manhood, most of might, stiff, strong, both stalwart and stout. The world full worthily hath made me a knight, all bowed to my bidding bonnily about. Then conscience, clear, comely, and kind, meekly he met me in seat. There I sat, he learned me a lesson of his teaching, and the 7 deadly sins full loathly he did hate. Pride, wrath, and envy, and covetous in kind. The world all these sins delivered me, until sloth, covetous, and lechery that is full of false flattering, all these conscience reproved both loud and still. To conscience I held up my hand to keep Christ's commandments. He warned me of folly, that traitor, and bade me beware, and thus he went his way. But I have falsely me forsworn, alas, the day that I was born, for body and soul I have forlorn. I clang as a clod in clay, in London many a day. At the passage I would play, I thought to borrow and never pay. Then was I sought and set in stocks, in Newgate I lay under locks. If I said aught, I caught many knocks. Alas, where was manhood, though? Alas, my lewdness hath me lost. Where is my body so proud and pressed? I cough and rot, my body will burst, age doth follow me so. I stare and stacker as I stand, I groan glisly upon the ground. Alas, death, why lettest thou me live so long? I wander as a wight in woe and care, for I have done ill. Now wend I will myself to spill, I care not whither nor where.
Well ye met, sir, well ye met, and whither away?
Why, good sir, whereby do you say?
Tell me, sir, I you pray, and I with you will wend.
Why, good sir, what is your name?
Forsooth, sir, perseverance, the same.
Sir, ye are conscience brother, that me did blame, I may not with you linger.
Yes, yes, manhood, my friend is fear.
Nay, sir, my name is in another manner, for Folly his own self was here, and hath cleped me shame.
Shame? Nay, manhood, let him go, Folly and his friends also, for they would thee bring into care and woe, and all that will follow his game.
Yea, game whoso game, Folly hath given me. So wherever I go, he cleped me shame. Now manhood is gone, Folly hath followed me so. When I first from my mother came, the world made me a man, and fast in riches I ran, till I was dubbed a knight. And then I met with conscience clear, and he me set in such manner, methought his teaching was full dear, both by day and night. And then Folly met me, and sharply he beset me, and from conscience he fed me, he would not from me go. Many a day he kept me, and to all folks he clept me. Shame, and unto all sins he set me. Alas, that me is woe, for I have falsely me forsworn. Alas, that I was born. Body and soul I am but lorn, me liketh neither glee nor blame.
Nay, nay, manhood, say not so. Beware of one hope, for he is a foe. A new name I shall give you too, I clep you repentance. For, and you here repent your sin, ye are possible heaven to win, but with great contrition yet ye must begin, and take you to abstinence, for though a man had do alone, the deadly sins every chone, and he with contrition make his moan to Christ our heaven King. God is all so glad of him, as of the creature that never did sin.
Now, good sir, how should I contrition begin?
Sir, in shrift of mouth without varying. And another ensample I shall show you too. Think on Peter and Paul and other Mo, Thomas, James, and John also, and also Mary Magdalene. For Paul did Christ's people great villainy, and Peter at the passion forsook Christ thrice, and Magdalene lived long in lechery, and St. Thomas believed not in the resurrection, and yet these to Christ are in Christ are darlings dear, and now be saints in heaven clear, and therefore, though ye have trespassed here, I hope ye be sorry for your sin.
Yea, perseverance, I you plight. I am sorry for my sin both day and night. I would fain learn with all my might how I should heaven win.
Sir, to win heaven 5 necessary things there been, that must be known to all mankind. The 5 wits doth begin, sir, bodily and spiritually.
Of the 5 wits I would have knowing.
Forsooth, sir, hearing, seeing, and smelling, the ruminant tasting and feeling. These being the 5 wits bodily, and, sir, other 5 wits there been.
Sir, perseverance, I know not them.
Now repentance, I shall you kin. They are the power of the soul. Clear in mind there is one, imagination and all reason, understanding and compassion. These belong unto perseverance.
Your mercy, perseverance, for your true teaching. But, good sir, is there any more behind that is necessary to all mankind freely for to know?
Yea, repentance, more there be, that every man must on believe. The 12 articles of the faith, that mankind must be on trow. The first, that God is in one substance, and also that God is in 3 persons, beginning and ending without variance, and all this world made of naught. The second, that the Son of God sickerly took flesh and blood of the Virgin Mary, without touching of man's flesh company. This must be in every man's thought. The third, that the same God's Son, born of the Holy Virgin, and she after his birth maiden, as she was beforn, and clearer in all kind. Also the fourth, that same Christ, God and man, he suffered pain and passion, because of man's soul redemption, and on a cross did hing. The 5th article I shall you tell. Then the Spirit of Godhead went to hell, and brought out the souls that there did dwell, by the power of his own might. The 6th article I shall you say. Christ rose upon the 3rd day, very God and man without nay, that all shall deem indite. He sent man's soul into heaven, aloft all the angels every chone. There is the Father, the Son, and the soothfast Holy Ghost. The 8th article we must believe on, that same God shall come down, and deem man's soul at the day of doom, and on mercy then must we trust. The 9th article without strife, every man, maiden, and wife, and all the bodies that ever bear life, and at the day of doom body and soul shall peer. Truly the 10th article is, all they that hath kept God's service, they shall be crowned in heaven bliss, and Christ's servants to him full dear. The 11th article, the sooth to saying, all that hath falsely to God guided thane, they shall be put into hell pain. There shall be no sin covering. Sir, after the 12th, we must watch and believe in all the sacraments of the Holy Church, that they have been necessary, both last and first, to all manner of mankind. Sir, yea, must also hear and know thou 10 commandments, though commandments 10. Lo, sir, this is your belief in all men, do after it, and ye shall heaven win. Without doubt, I know.
Gramercy, perseverance, for your true teaching, for in the spirit of my soul will I find that it is necessary to all mankind truly for to know. Now, sirs, take all and sample by mo, how I was born in simple degree, the world royal received me and dubbed me a knight. Then conscience met me, so after him came folly. Folly falsely deceived me, then shame my name hight.
Yea, and now your name is repentance, through the grace of God Almight, and therefore with any distance, I take my leave of king and knight, and I pray to Jesu, which has made us all, cover you with his mantle perpetual. Amen.
And there endeth the interlude of Mundus et Infans. So, yes, a nice cool 50 minutes flies by. I made lots of notes and things as I was going along, options for what we might do with this in a bit. But just general thoughts, especially for those who haven't experienced this particular text before. Any thoughts you want to throw in, or questions, or things that are worthy to record before we go off camera? Thoughts in the room. How are people finding it? Rachael.
We did Downfall of Robert, Earl of Huntington, earlier in the week, and what is it? The Skeltonics. I don't know. There's something similar between that and the speech that people have during some parts of this, and it's very musical and rap sounding with the rhythm, and then the stopping of the rhythm, and then the restarting.
Yes, that play was the Robin Hood play was explicitly looking back to about this period in time. This play is slightly earlier than that, that period that play was looking at. But yes, there's a lot of playfulness in this text, and dancing around, presenting character, and I have to say, Greg, wonderful grabbing hold of a word that's meaning has changed over the years, and using that as a basis for your performance.
Good child. I really love it. I think it's great. It's a wonderful journey play, as in I can see the journey. Actually, it helped reading it straight through. And though it's different people, so we had that time different people playing the journey. It was really interesting, and some great speeches, and you can't beat a good sermon at the end.
Well, I don't know. Lynsey might disagree on that point.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was very vigorous. It was very energetic, and and blissfully brief. Even the compendiousness of Severance's final sermon was, was basically, let's get on with it, and nothing was, it's not one where I think a lot of cuts could be found, maybe one or two repetitions, but I thought it was. I thought it was fun. A good companion piece, perhaps, for for a double bill for something else.
Yes, it's sort of almost your budget version morality play, because you can do it with an incredibly small cast if you really wanted to go for it. We maximised the number of readers we could go for in this room, but you could do it with 2, ideally 3. It depends on whether there's music. Someone mentioned it. I think it was Rachael mentioned in the chat. What is there music in this? And I sort of think of it as working a number of movements, because there are moments when the stage feels like there needs to be something. Because how do we get across this character aging before our eyes. You know, there is indicated that clothing is being placed on him. Now is your mantle of whatever. This is the thing. It's not explicit all the time, but we've got that as a sort of signifier. And then he turns to the audience and shows off what his age that he's at is like. So there's so much potential in that in performance as to what to do with that. Just simply, this character is aging before your eyes. Is it the same person? Is it just a costume thing? What happens? They turn around and then suddenly they get to do a one person show, and then they go back to Mundus. And it's that thing. For doing it with cameras on and off, does Mundus switch off the camera and leave Infans, Wanton, Lust and Liking, whatever, to do their little bit, and then they turn to Mundus again, and Mundus comes back on camera, because there's quite explicitly a step away from Mundus and a step towards Mundus, which would involve on a stage just simply stepping away from Mundus and turning to the audience. But in this setup is a different thing. We also have a fight, a playful playing at Buckler's fight between Folly and Manhood.
Sparring. We have sparring.
A little bit of sparring, and Folly pretends that he didn't lose. And of course, drinking. We have cups to pass. As Folly gets Manhood right royally plastered. And yeah, so there's an awful lot of pointing actually and detail in this text, even though it moves at, or in theory moves at 5 million miles an hour, and a lot of it does want to do that, is that thing of holding on to it and going, right, what do we do here, how do we make sure this is clear, because decisions are being made by Manhood decides to go, oh, conscience traps you in a trap of logic. And you change your mind, but then you change your mind back again. And do you talk yourself into that, or do you talk yourself out of it, as it were?
Well, it's weird. I mean, Folly, Manhood, I think, really wants to be good enough for Conscience. He wants to be the kind of person Conscience would approve of, and he rejects Folly when Folly calls himself Folly and Shame. And then Folly is like, fine, I'll abandon the shame part. And Mankind is like, well, fine then. Okay, you must be a good person now.
Well, yeah. Well, when we did our first read on the podcast, 2 years ago, I think, the question actually went the other way. The feeling there was that actually, no, he doesn't really want to give in to conscience, and actually he's looking for just the on the paper excuse. He's looking for plausible deniability as an option. I mean, we don't have to make decisions at this point, but it's a question as to how far he's actually convinced by conscience, and whether he's just play acting.
I don't know. I mean, reading it through then, partly because of my great respect and esteem for Alexandra as a fellow artist, that, I felt like there has to be a real connection there, because afterwards, when Conscience leaves, Manhood goes through this weird thing going, oh my God, I hope he never comes back, but here's everything he told me, which I'm going to try and do. I feel like there has to be a meaningful connection, even if you break it, which he does in spectacular fashion, but there has to be enough of conscience there so that Mankind knows what they've fallen into with Folly. Like, there can't be shame unless there's conscience.
Alexandra.
Yeah, I feel as though because of the nature of conscience, the concept being the thing that kind of naggles at the back of your head, and you're perturbed by your own attacks of morality while you're doing something that you shouldn't be. Because of that, I think that's how it's most interesting to me, if that's how this situation operates. So conscience comes along, says, you really shouldn't, that wouldn't be a good idea, and then goes away, and Manhood sort of goes, I'll be fine. Wait, hang on. So if it works in that way, as distinct from then the interaction between age and perseverance, where the character of the human has matured and sees things in a different way, and the morality kind of figure sort of has matured or has changed. I mean, I know it's supposedly a different person, but yeah, and then it works because it's a different approach.
Well, yeah, we get this with a lot of morality plays. If you get told something, you shouldn't do the X or Y, and then they go off and do it anyway, and then it's oh, but you meant it. It's like it takes a while for moral teachings to stick, and that's part of the lesson is that you have to keep working at this stuff. You will always be tempted, and you must be strong against these temptations. Eric.
See, I was going to argue against that because there's a part of me going it's that thing of don't press the red button and you don't tell them what the consequences are. So it kind of as soon as you say don't think about cows, everyone is suddenly thinking about cows, or whatever, or cats, which
we're never going to stop thinking about cats.
Yeah, obviously not. But it's just sort of that thing of, as soon as you forbid something, people want to do it.
I like the idea that conscience should pop up more. It should be like a pop-up that just goes, and then disappears again,
I mean, there's no reason why there aren't entrances and exits, so there's no reason why conscience couldn't just kind of go off further away and be watching from a distance and be trying to intervene. And he has an access of conscience, so conscience doesn't come in and say anything because he's done it to himself. And,
yes,
then eventually, he stops. He decides to finally go with Folly, at which point conscience intervenes in person.
Yeah, I mean, because the logic, the script doesn't give us almost any stage directions, and it may be that in doubling terms, there's a reason why conscience can't be on stages because the conscience might be doubling with somebody else, but there's no reason why we can't do more with conscience if we decided to do so.
Yeah, except conscience. I mean, I would be a little bit wary of overusing conscience. I feel like sometimes with a character, if you use them too much, it weakens them. I don't know. You do according to your conscience.
Yes, but I'm not sure I've got one.
Well, you should listen to Alexandra then.
Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. Lynsey.
I'm not sure if I missed something, but in theory, could this be a two-hander with both of the actors sort of playing the other part, as it were? So you have Mundus playing conscience, playing perseverance, playing whichever one Manhood is not morphing into.
Until there's one crunch point where that doesn't, where there would be a moment where two people have to be off stage simultaneously. It's the age and perseverance problem, basically. So, so what happens is you have conscience is left on stage, and then he says, "I'm going to go and find perseverance," and then perseverance immediately comes back on stage. So the person doubly. So unless you swapped for age, the person, you don't have a consistent humanity figure throughout. That's the crunch point. There's no reason why you can't have a music cue, or you just have an incredible, but that's the point where you can't, unless you've got them, everybody's doubling as everybody else. It doesn't quite work.
I think you can have conscience or whoever it is take out a magic wand and wave it over their head.
But he's literally said, "I'm going to look for perseverance." So is it going to say, "I'm going to turn myself into perseverance"?
Something like that. Yes. And then you'd have that balancing between the human character and all of the other qualities that they encounter.
Yeah, maybe as age is the older version of manhood, maybe perseverance is the older version of conscience.
That's how it feels to me, and I think if you go by what people were putting in the chat, which is that this could be done with very simple costume related changes, so that either manhood is or child is layering on things as he becomes different names or he's taking things off. You could do a very similar thing with Conscience being referred to as a friar, so could be in friar's habit, and then he goes, I'm going to look for someone else, take a step off stage, drop the friar habit, come back in.
Yeah. I mean, I say the reason I reject it is just it's a very, it's basically you don't design a play to do that. You would design to do it another way. You would have Age come on for 10 lines, and then you would have Perseverance find him. So that's why I don't believe it's a two-hander. I think it's a three-hander. Just on a historical perspective, which doesn't matter to us. Or that there's music, which might fit. Sorry, Lynsey, I think I stepped over you.
No, that's all right. I was just thinking it could work if neither character ever left the stage, but did it all in full view of the audience, and possibly with music. And it might be quite nice if the human character was putting on things, and the Conscience Plus character was taking things off. So you've got that sort of mirroring, as it were. These are just ideas.
You to fill in the time that you actually see Manhood turn into Age, while Perseverance, Conscience goes off to change to be Perseverance, and that's why I think that music would be a really interesting element here, because I say I don't talk about this having scenes as about having movements. Yeah. That's how I think of it, because that might be a really interesting way of covering it and making that a thing. Rachael.
No, that's what I wanted to talk about, is the like what Liza was saying before about Conscience and Manhood being more even. There's like there's like a page or 2 pages where they're speaking. They're both speaking in 4 lines each and going back and forth. And then again with like Folly, between Manhood and Conscience, it sounds like they're doing some sort of like duet song. And then later on, when you go down to Folly, it's Folly talking in these, going in his lines, and then just 1 line from Manhood, 1 line from Manhood. Like, I don't know, when somebody's doing sort of like not a solo in a musical, but they're going through the thing, and then somebody's like, ooh, and then this, and then they do the next section of, the other character does the next section of music. And yeah, I feel like the part with Folly and Manhood especially is something that must have had like music to it, or being played in the background.
Alexandra?
Around page 17.
So I agree with you, Rachael, in that that's valid. It feels very musical. I don't know whether, for me, it feels as though the text itself brings its own music. So if you think of it as like a really long rap, you don't want it to have the same rhythm. You want the interactive parts to sound like interactions, and the speechy parts to have a different rhythm and a different meter and so on. So if it's, beat poetry, it's a really, really long beat poem or something like that, then what you get is it will feel, I think, as an audience. So it done in that way, I think as an audience, we would feel a lot of rhythm and musicality. Because I agree with you that it's there.
Liza, then Eric.
Yeah, I'm loving both of these viewpoints. That there's music in the text, but it also makes you think of music, of a duet. And in musical theater, the law is, when the emotion is too intense for speaking, then you sing, and when the emotion is too intense for singing, then you dance. So there is that heightened feeling to that exchange. It's literally a battle for someone's soul. And also I think it's a little bit, it's like meeting someone who they make a huge impression on you, and you're not a good enough person to date them, but you are going to remember this conversation for the rest of your life. Like, you're a vegan with a social conscience. Great. I'm, I, I eat too many McDonald's for you to love me, but,
Eric.
I was just going to say that in response to the music point, you could just have like sort of each one coming in with their own soundtrack, kind of like their own theme, as you would in a musical or some sort of opera, where as soon as a character comes on, you know that it's them because they have their own like sort of pattern, or like sort of musical pattern, not like lyrical pattern, whatever you want to call it.
And we've also got, interesting questions, of making it clear when we're talking about the various kings that these are actual, in theory, personifications. That there is within the world of this play, a king of pride, a king of lechery, a king of wrath, etc. So there's a whole sequence when you're talking about you're going to serve this knight, you're going to serve this king, this king, this king, this king, of making that clear. Again, it's this budget quality to this play. Is we can't afford to have the seven deadly sins physically come on stage, so you're just gonna serve them, as it were. And again, highlighting that point and making that clear, and playing with it again. If you've got there are interesting options. Where I'm now moving into. Someone mentioned dance. There's a lot of potential here for That's what I think is nice about this play, is because it has so few stage directions, and it has so many options for we can lay so many options onto this text, and it would still survive. I think it's robust enough. Any other general thoughts before I close the video for the world and we have a little conflab about what we're actually going to do? Eric.
I was going to say there was something that Lynsey said earlier where one person takes the clothes off and the other person puts them on. And I was thinking that it would just be funny if they passed them to each other. I don't know, but obviously that would just break the play. But it just here.
I think you have characters aging multiple years within the space of a relatively short speech. So I think anything goes, really.
Alexandra.
One thing we haven't addressed, which would of course be really helpful if you had more than one person playing this, is differences in physicality. If you had only a couple of people, only 3 people, is physicality, is changes in physicality, so that what you get is somebody who not only changes costume, but sort of evolves in the stereotypical physicalities that we associate with everything from early youth to very old age. And likewise, on the other side, the 1 or 2 people who would be playing the everybody else, really making those characters very different. And so you don't need a lot in the look of things if what you've got is people doing fascinating stuff with their bodies, with the rhythms of what they're saying. It's a very cheap thing to put on, as Rob has been saying.
Yeah. No,
so do.
Yeah, it is the fundamental difference between this and Castle of Severance. Castle of Severance is, our earliest extant morality play, and it requires about 20 plus people and some earthworks. This doesn't. This requires 2 to 3 people doing some acting, and a chair. I think. People do sit several times. They do say they're going to sit. I think we should give them that option. It doesn't have to be literally a chair. Could be a box. I don't mind.
I think it should be a throne. All these.
I think it is intimated that it is. The Mundus at least has a throne. I think that's intimated. Eric.
Well, there is also that thing of, I think it's Wanton who has like all the sort of, let's play and whistle and pick plums and so on. So like it's sort of very, that's very physical. Like you can have them skipping. Well, I mean, if it was on stage, then you could have them skipping around or like finding plums or whatever, and stealing random stuff. And yeah.
Yes, I mean, the thing is, in performance, this is a slower play because actually there's so much business that this dialogue infers. So that whole thing about Wanton is basically he's playing. He's got a new game. Here's another game that I'm going to play. I can do this. I'm so good at so many things.
I love the idea of there being a toy box Or, you know, it could maybe be the same box as either the costume box or the prop box that just, or maybe part of the game could be finding toys. I mean, if this were on stage, finding toys hidden in various parts of the stage and sort of, you know, sitting down in front of an audience member going, look, it goes round and round.
Though, of course, that might mean that the Infans has to enter wearing a nappy.
Well, I was thinking Infants would be really good as a puppet or a doll,
Yeah.
or you know, if we were going the full improbable theater route, you'd have like the actor's head, and then around their neck they'd be wearing the baby's swaddled body, and the rest of them would be in black.
Yeah, little sticks to work the arms. Yeah.
I
Alexandra, then
Just to add
Rachael.
to that, sorry, just to add to that, your other option, which is more expensive than the very, very cheap staging, is animation. You could do a lot of visual evolution with animation, and it would also solve the problem of quick changes and all that. And I think it's something that kind of sets itself well for that kind of treatment.
Rachael.
No, I was just gonna say that the rhyme scheme for like the longer speeches is interesting. Like what Alexandra was saying before, even if there's not music to this, that it creates this rhythm, just this interesting rhythm. And then I don't know how popular like tarot cards were at this time, but it's like what Greg was saying, like the journey and like some of that major arcana type of cards.
Okay, I'm going to close the recording part of this session so that we have some time to do some actual planning, decide when we're going to come back to this and precisely how we're going to do that. So all that remains is to thank all these wonderful readers for that speed run. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye.